So after we add this application of the concept questions, let's see the original 4 questions from the problem regarding the different ways we analyze the change from the current situations. So before, because the questions, they can change when you have proposals or options, right? Pricing change, cost adjustment, and volume adjustment. So that's the way you analyze all of the change or adjustment from your current. So we must have a correct understanding for our current situation, because all of the suggested change, we need to go from here to change the percentage or change to by the absolute numbers. For example, the first one, we want to know the revised net income if the unit sales can increase by 14%. So this benchmark, you are referring to the current 34,000 as my numbers. So the 14% change, and you also want to identify which factor overall, if I can give a steps to solve the problem. So have a correct and a thorough understanding of the current statement, or I'm saying the current factors in getting the statement, like your pricing, cost, right, variable cost, fixed cost, and the related information. So, and volume, certainly including the current volume, the unit. So we can work on here to understand how the proposed change can impact the the ways you operate, and then identify how the proposed scenario or the option will change the dynamics we are looking for the question, or all the factors we are looking for here, and you can get your result. So how the proposed options or proposed scenarios will change the factors playing in the statement for us to figure out the contribution margin or the income. So let's now go back to the first one again. Okay, I know we already have the answers, but the answer is not your ultimate goal, is the working process. Okay, what's the correct approach? I solved the problem. So increase 14% of the sales, I will highlight the change. We only change one factor this time. That's quite simple. So only one factor change, and it's changing my volume. 34,000 current plus a 14,000 change. And that's the only factor. So if I change the sales volume by increasing by 14%, so that's why you see in the solution parts, we multiply the current sales volume by, I hope you know how we got this 1.14, right? That's 1 current plus a 14. So totally we converted it to the decimal is 1.14. So 1 plus 14%. Then using this new change sales volume multiplied by the pricing, a range of $9, and we got the new sales revenue. Then the critical thing, variable expense. I see lots of students will make mistakes in the second item, in this item. So some of them will continue to do this, still use the 34,000 times 6 automatically. But did you see what's happening here? You are mismatching. You have an increased volume on the sales, but the old volume for the variable expense. And how we can define the variable expense? Variable means they going up, go down with your sales volume. So they should be always on the same pace, same number. But many, okay, not a single or like two cases, many they will forget. They use change the volume for sales revenue, but it used the old volume for variable expense. Okay, this isn't the mistake. So I have to adjust it to the same sales volume, new volume, and you got the updated variable expense total. Okay, that's the variable cost behavior. Okay, they are changing according to the sales volume. And the increased contribution margin, the per unit no change, with the same fixed expense. So we got a increased net operating income, okay, compared to the current. So the parts I highlighted here using the red is the changing. Okay, I want to, later, I know you work directly on the computer, but if you can work on something on paper, on scratch paper, I want you to highlight the change factors because that's will help you fix or focus on the factors you need to change from the baseline condition. Okay, first one. Then second one, we got how many factors are changing from here by reading the proposal. We have a sales price decrease. You have adjusted the price down per unit. In the meantime, we are expecting the units sold increase by 25%. So what type of strategy? Right? Lower price, higher volume. Okay, so we are looking for a sales volume boost if we can afford to decrease the price a little bit. In here, so we are getting the price, you can see the per unit pricing. Okay, pricing changed, but the variable cost is still the same. So the contribution margin per unit got squeezed, smaller, right? So you are sacrificing the contribution margin per unit so we can have a higher sales volume and eventually you are expecting higher income. But how this can work, or we can, and looking for. So now let's calculate. The sales volume is a 25% going up. And also in the meantime, we'll multiply the 6 by the units, also use the 42,500, the new sales volume. And probably you already can tell we have a lower contribution margin total compared to the current. So it decreased almost by 3,000. Apparently, by looking now, I don't really think that's a good proposal to go. But if you have no other choice, I have to lower the price, to keep the volume or increase the volume slightly. That's probably you have to go. But decreased, okay, so this is going down. Okay, really unfavorable to the change. And with the same fixed expense, we got lower net income. Okay, this is definitely unfavorable income than the current situations. So as managers, okay, are you going to adopt or you have to adopt? Okay, that's your choice. And so number two factor change, so the key, okay, so far I haven't touched upon the fixed expense yet. The number 3 was the new operating income. Now, if we increase the sales price by 130, okay, so opposite, or if we have a popular or hot product in the market, you have the power like price inflation in another, right? So like inflation, we have to increase the price. But oh, I'm sorry, that's the I jumped to the first. So sales price $130 per unit, and also have a up for the fixed expense have to go up by $10,000. And as a result, because we increase price, the volume decreased, sales volume decreased by 3% as a reflection of the pricing going up. Okay, that's normally the outcome for increase the pricing unless you are really a very sought after product from the customers. So we sacrifice the sales volume by increasing the price. Okay, three-factor change: sales price, fixed expense, and the sales volume. Okay, we need to plug in the three-factor into the original question so we can figure out the new net operating income. So in the third question in the worksheets, adopt the pricing decrease. So 97%, right? The units, okay, will decrease by 3% since we have a higher price. Lower volume but a higher price, so you got the new sales revenue. And when you apply the variable expense, remember also use the adjusted volume with the $6 per unit variable cost. And so far looking not bad, right? So you have a contribution margin increase much more than the current, right? So 102 is the current, so we got a higher. So looking for here, favorable. So if you can do this, okay, increase the price, but the volume decrease is not that much. Okay, so the benefits and the cost. And with a increase, this one got up. Don't forget the fixed expense is 10,000 more than current. So overall, the net operating income is going up as well, even with the covering of the fixed expense. Okay, so favorable than your current situation. To planning predictions. And then finally, number 4, I already like this one is we are increasing the price by percentage. And also increase the variable expense, maybe your material, labor, or variable overhead. This increase is a 20 cents per unit. Okay, read the question carefully so you can capture the change in your calculation correctly. And that's combined give us a decreased sales volume by 11%. Yeah, this 11 is quite a large drop down on your volume. Three-factor: pricing, variable cost, and the volume are changing in the same time. So plug in this change in your calculations with the adjusted. Okay, you can see here the current sales volume is how is 89%? That's 1 minus 11%, right? So 1 is the current benchmark. So this is 89. And also the price decreased by 10%. So be careful. Initially we have $10 and now it's $9.90. So 10% is 10 cents. So current $9.90. Variable expense, also the adjusted volume decreased. And with an increase, so all unfavorable. So pricing unfavorable, variable cost unfavorable, decreased. Decreased. Yeah, decreased. So variable expense is going up. So contribution margin is, you can see, is actually higher than the current. So think about how this happened. Because both the sales volume, with the sales volume decrease and also increase for the variable expense per unit, the combined impact on the contribution margin is actually slightly higher than current. So when we have the multiple factor change, don't use the shortcut, because if you trying to use the differential analysis, it's very easy to make mistakes, errors. So use the full income statement. Crunching in the numbers, every numbers, do the new calculations and put them together. That will help improve the accuracy of the results. And no change on the fixed expense. So net operating income is also slightly higher than the current. It seems to be favorable, but not that much as question number 3. So third question in the homework is a good practice of different situations. We are looking for the title of the chapter, CVP, cost, volume, and profit. And then adding these additional formula applications as I did. So after the meeting, I will update the file I posted in Blackboard. So you can see this updated change, and you can study further to when you do your own homework and study for the materials. Okay, I think I will stop here. So we'll wrap up chapter 6. Okay, by getting something maybe to the operating leverage and the CVP for multiple products tomorrow, and then we are ready to move to chapter 7, variable costing and segment reporting.